Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. According to Michael Benson, Oscar De La Hoya told reporters recently that one day he would like to stage a following doubleheader, and this doubleheader would have Saul Canelo Álvarez versus Jermall Charlo and Jaime Munguia versus Jermell Charlo. That would be a phenomenal doubleheader, and I think that'll be a great card. I think that's a pay-per-view worthy card, but on the zone, you don't have to pay pay-per-view. That would be a fantastic card. And that fight actually makes sense. Both of those fights could make sense for September, possibly. Then let's break down the matchup. So if Jermall Charlo is one step away from being Canelo Álvarez is mandatory, then you have to think about it. He could possibly be next. After Danny Jacobs, should Canelo Álvarez be successful in defeating Danny Jacobs. So let's assume that Canelo defeats Danny Jacobs, and for whatever reason, Jermall Charlo is then ordered to be his mandatory, not to fight Triple G, or he gets past Triple G. However that works out, he fights Jermall Charlo next. That would be fantastic. And if you look at a matchup between Jermall Charlo and Canelo Álvarez, you have to understand that Canelo Álvarez literally beats him in every single category that matters: speed, accuracy, foot movement, experience, ring IQ. All of the boxes are checked. The only attributes that Jermall Charlo has over Canelo Álvarez is height and reach. So I think that this is the type of fight with Jermall Charlo and Canelo Álvarez. Canelo Álvarez has already beaten multiple opponents who had height and reach advantage, because it's not necessarily your overall size, your IQ, your boxing ability, your speed, your accuracy, your intelligence. All these things come into play. And the fact that Canelo Álvarez is so much more skilled and experienced than Jermall Charlo. We know that Jermall Charlo struggles with cutting off the ring with Matt Korobov and Austin Trout. So let's not be unhonest about this. We have to be unbiased and be honest and let everyone know that Canelo Álvarez would dominate that matchup, similar to the way he did against Rocky Fielding. That's what would happen. If we look at the fight with Jaime Munguia versus Jermall Charlo, I think that'll be a little more competitive, only for the simple reason that Jermall Charlo is more experienced than a Jaime Munguia. So we'll leave that at that. So, people say, well, look at the records. No, you got to understand that Jaime Munguia is a very young fighter, regardless of how many fights he has on his record. You can't be a novice and a casual fan. You have to be honest and you have to be intelligent when you break these things down. Then when you look at Jaime Munguia, you look at his sheer size. If Jaime Munguia looks good from now until then, he may be ready, because we already know Jaime Munguia has the power, and we already know that Jermall Charlo is not an elite level boxer. I think who's a better pure boxer with better boxing skills is Liam Smith, and Jaime Munguia has already overcome Liam Smith, already went 12 rounds with the Liam Smith, the same Liam Smith who was in there with Canelo. So you have to understand, Liam Smith is a good, solid competitor, and at the same time, Liam Smith is a better pure boxer than Jermall Charlo, but at the same time, he's not a better fighter than Jermall Charlo, if that makes sense. And I think that Jermall Charlo will go head hunting for Jaime Munguia. And as long as Jaime Munguia is ready and prepared and continues to improve like we've seen, I think that he'd be ready to fight Jermall Charlo in September. I think this would be a massive doubleheader. I think these would be two great fights. And I think that Canelo Álvarez and Jaime Munguia could come out on top, because I believe both of the Charlo brothers have been completely overhyped, completely overstated. And we've seen that both of these guys had showcase fights against, a Tony Harrison and a Matt Korobov. And if we're unbiased and we watch both of those performances, it's easy to say that both of these guys lost. You don't really see Jermall Charlo beating Matt Korobov, although they gave him the decision. Everyone saw Tony Harrison beat Jermall Charlo. And, you get a lot of guys crying about it, but at the end of the day, we know the truth. We've seen him get outboxed. We've seen him headhunting and not being able to connect with clean and solid shots. But once again, unbiased as always is the Ibfp. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.